Hey guys, Virginia here, Makerspace Coordinator and Chief Imaginator Extraordinaire. I would like to welcome you to the COLAB, the Central Ontario Laboratory, where we use ideation, research, entrepreneurship, and social innovation to fuel your amazing ideas and create lasting change. We are here to educate, inspire, and activate. Prepare to educate yourself with seasoned mentors, be inspired by compelling voices, and activate your plan for success. Welcome to the COLAB. Hey guys, I'm Virginia. This is the hair that lives on top, and today we are going to be talking about the future of the workplace.
Ooh, pretty exciting stuff. Actually, it's pretty scary stuff for some people.
It can be pretty scary.
So I'm Jamie Dorn. I'm the Executive Director of Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship at Georgian College, and I'm really excited about this topic. So let's just dive right in.
Hey Jamie, where are you working from right now?
Oh, in my house. Like this is the world of work now.
This is the world of work. Where am I? I am also in my house. Transformed a little bit, but it's still my house.
I opted for, at first when we was working from home, I had a big green screen up here and I had it so I could look like I was in a nice fancy library or whatever. And then slowly I was like, let's just get rid of all that stuff and show the reality. Like everyone's working from home right now, and it's changing the way we work.
And it's sort of opening up more of our lives to the people who we work with as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like these are like little windows into people's homes and their lives. Yeah, I think that flexibility is one of the benefits to all this stuff. But let's go back and say, like, why is this happening? Like, I know that we're in the COVID situation, which means that we're all forced into this situation, but I think there's more going on than just that.
We are having what some would call a transformation, or in our case, especially as we're doing this via video, a digital transformation.
Yeah, that is right. That is so true. And we have been kind of accelerated into this digital transformation because for the last 20, well, even from the 70s, actually, there's this idea around what's called Moore's Law, where it's the speed of technological advancement doubles every so often. And now we're at this point where it's doubling and doubling and doubling very, very quickly. And so we're in this massive period of change, and it's accelerating right now. So it's not just that we got all this new digital technology. It's like tomorrow we could have twice as much stuff as we had yesterday. It's about every kind of technology. It means that, I forget what the initial period is, but it over time, the rate reduces by half so that, it speeds up and speeds up and speeds up. And so that's sort of good news for the planet. But, like we said at the beginning, it's pretty scary because you can't look a year or two ahead and be absolutely certain what it's going to look like. And that has happened in the past. So this is not the first time humanity and societies like ours have gone through this kind of thing. Back in the 1800s, between the early 1800s all the way to 1900, there was all this, the rise of the machines. Workers who did everything by hand now suddenly had all these machines. There were drills and there were saws and things, and people were freaking out about that.
And then with Ford coming in with the first sort of automated machine lineup to assemble cars and whatnot.
Mass production.
Yeah.
So I brought a couple of things over here. I got one book right here. I don't know whether you have read this book before.
Frankenstein.
But
yes,
you might have seen the movies and all that kind of stuff. But that book was written as a horror story with the idea that science at the time was advancing so quickly and in scary, scary ways. Like basically people using electrodes to make frog legs kind of do this, and people are like, what? You control life?
Yes, you're controlling life.
And so then the logical progression was that suddenly you're going to be able to create life, and that was Frankenstein. But that's just a fictional story.
In a way, that's sort of what's happening right now. We're instead of creating life, we're just creating a new life, a new level. It's like we just got to the castle and now we're moving on to the next level.
That is exactly right. And instead of Frankenstein, we're headed towards this AI, this artificial intelligence, which is really the same kind of thing. Like maybe there'll be a new version of Frankenstein. He's basically a robot that is self-aware.
Yes.
There you go,
yes.
Hollywood. There's an idea for you.
That's just the story. That's almost just the story of Cyborg from.
Yeah, there's been several movies like that.
Half
That's
machine.
for sure. But there's the other book over here that I pulled out of the cupboard, and this one is Abundance. This book was doing the circuit a number of years ago.
Yep.
This one is Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler. But you'll know Peter Diamandis because he's the guy who started the X Prize, and he's also the guy who started Singularity University. And he's got a co-editor on here, this Stephen fella. But the abundance idea of abundance goes back to what we were talking about Moore's law, how we're accelerating in advancement, and eventually we will get to this point where our technology will be on par, with human intelligence, and then the next step is it's on par with the sum of all human intelligence, and then the next step after that is like almost unthinkable that this machine could know everything. It's like that machine from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that calculated that the meaning of life is 42. So anyway, that kind of that kind of thing, So that's where this could go, and that's what's in our future and within our lifetime. This will happen. The guess is it's called the singularity. Once we reach that point, and the guess is, it could happen anywhere from 10 years to 20 years from now.
Yeah, the one thing that I can see is that there's probably some people who are not comfortable with this whole digital transformation, this whole idea of the singularity. So, maybe grandma might say something like, "No thanks."
Yeah, she might. Let's explore that a little bit, because I think that's kind of interesting. So if we picked four different classes of people and tried to explore what they would think about this whole digital transformation that we're going through. So let's pick, how about a scientist, a business person, let's do grandma or the older generation, and then the opposite of that, let's do the kids.
Yes, the kids.
Okay, we'll save the kids to the end. So let's start with the top one, the scientists. What do you think scientists feel and think about this idea of digital transformation?
I think that this is giving scientists an entirely huge leap forward. The ability to use big data analytics and to use that AI type software to be able to figure things out, like how to deal with the coronavirus that we're currently dealing with in the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Good examples there. I think some of the scientists, I think you're right about that. They're pretty excited about it and they can see the potential for the future. There's others who are on the opposite side who are the doomsayers, I guess, or at least warning us and saying, you got to be careful. So what about then in business? So as a business person, what do you think they think about digital transformation?
I think that a business person, just seeing and knowing, since we work in the entrepreneur sector, a lot of fear at first, a lot of pivoting going on. So changing the way your business works, changing the way that you do business with other people, and trying to, push that new normal, or at least acceptance of that new normal.
Yeah, you're right there. Short term, we've had a lot of businesses kind of have to do that big leap. Some of them, even 6 months ago, 7 months ago, they didn't even have a website, or they didn't know how to sell their products online. And now here we are 6 months later, and most of them will have some way to sell online, or, at the very least, they've discovered what social media is actually for and are connecting with their customers through that. So where does that lead?
Where does that lead? That leads us into a whole lot more, I would say, connection, but also disconnect at the same time, because we're so connected to our devices and to people online, but are we connected to our stores still? I love to go to the fabric shop still.
Oh yeah.
I need to go in, I need to feel the fabric. That's something for me that I couldn't do it with a change to it.
Yeah. I think everybody's got to kind of have one foot on both sides of the fence here, because there are, we all want that kind of experience of going into a store sometimes, or a restaurant and hanging out with your friends or seeing people in the store.
Yes.
That kind of thing. But then for convenience and that we have this online shopping thing is kind of taken over.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking too that, if we extrapolate out from where we are now, you go on the internet or your phone or something to order something, but I imagine that we are headed towards this commerce situation where if you can't physically go to the store, you're going to put your VR goggles on. So
Do you have it there?
I got my new Quest 2 here.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
How is it? Do you like it?
Yeah, it's great. And but we could go in there, and then I'm in a virtual world, and I could be shopping in there. These are gonna get better and better and better.
Absolutely.
So to be fairly realistic, even with those haptic gloves or something, so you feel like you're touching a product or picking something up. So it'd be cool. So, who else is on our list here? We said grandma. So
we said grandma.
So the older generation, the great generation. That's how are they feeling about all this digital transformation?
Well, I know that, like, just from my side with my family, my mom embraces it a lot more than my dad does. My dad he's a mechanic. He works with his hands. He likes to go to the store and physically pick up his stuff. But then he's slowly embracing the fact that he found out he just order brakes online and they just come right to your door. No needing to go to extra places or to like go to a store to get an order. And he really likes that. So. Yeah,
I found the same and some of the older members of my family too. Some of them were actually really terrified of even putting their credit card number in an online purchase, because over years, they were told to never give your credit card number out, and here we are typing it on the internet. So it's pretty scary for them. But they, I think for the most part, they try it and say, this seems to actually work. So it's not so bad.
Don't need that.
Don't bother. Yeah.
I'll
move on. So let's us move on to what about the kids? So we got, say, the 12 and unders. What are they thinking about?
Oh my goodness.
All this stuff.
Give me more. I want to be able to access more. Like, I want to do this. I want to do that. What do you mean this new thing, new piece of technology is coming out? Like, I want this. Christmas lists are getting more expensive.
Yes, true. There was a stat a few years ago that, that popped up. It was the first generation to be born with the internet. And, that was just suddenly something fascinating because, I saw it kind of rise. I was born in 1971. So, that's the very early days of what the original internet started just after that, and, really didn't get to the masses until let's see, my first email account was in 1991.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, definitely in the 90s, because I was born 86 and we lived in the country. So that's like, internet wasn't, what is that? Like, it didn't happen.
And you didn't have internet at home. You could only get it at school, and then to move around, to even do there weren't a lot of databases. It was all pretty much, you had to connect to these other servers, and then you maybe get these folders you could look in and stuff. And eventually the internet came up, and then blah, 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 we're e-commerce, and now we're here, and it's like this big, robust internet we've got. And we've got kids right now who take that for granted. It's like, I can Google anything. It's like, hey, Google, what's, the capital of Alaska,
Yes. I also think that they're sort of used to a more disposable type economy where, like,
yes,
it's like, if I break my phone, whatever, I'll just get a new one.
Another one. Yeah.
And because I need a new one now I can get the newest one of it, because they come out every year.
But I do think that generation, the youngest generation, they are a little bit more sensitive, maybe empathic to, not empathic. It's it's empathic. Edit that out. They're an empathic generation because they have this feeling of connection to the earth and maybe even to each other in a different way than we do. So, they could, as they grow up, be the ones who drive change for environmental sustainability of technology, where it'd be like, make a device that doesn't break.
Make one that we can upgrade.
Yeah,
that I can actually upgrade, fix,
or it
upgrade.
Heals itself, right? We got those wicked technology. It just
yes.
It's going to heal itself. It's made of organic
Cracked
parts.
screens no more.
Talk about Frankenstein. My phone could be like this living organism that shows me everything I need to know and heals itself.
This is just turning into like we're gonna have alien buddies and they're gonna just like telepathically give us our information and they're just connected and they're like these little like sentient beings and
yeah, maybe here we go.
I'm as long as it's adorable, I'm in.
We'll get rid of the phone entirely. It'll just be this organic blob that we all attach to the side of our head and it just connects to your brain and helps you videotape stuff and make phone calls and do all this wicked stuff.
That would be so awesome. I'm not going to lie.
So you and I would be comfortable in that future, but I imagine there's quite a few others who wouldn't be so comfortable.
You're like, you're not sticking something to attach to my head? Like, what?
All right. So one more quick topic here, I think, is, okay, we talked about a whole spectrum of stuff, like all this, everything from the dreamer's side to the practical stuff, the pragmatic stuff that we're going to need to transform our work world. But so if we kind of distill it down, what do you think then in the next 2 years, what's our work world going to look like? For real, like if you could predict what it looks like in 2 years, what is it going to look like?
I think it's going to look like a lot more, as I said, like the home office sort of world, but a lot more contract type situations where people will be more so like, I need someone to do this for us now. Like I need to hire,
like
a data analyst. Exactly, exactly like that. And I'm not against it, but it does sort of like take away that everything and all of the ideals that like our parents instilled in us, like, you get your job and you start working there and then you work there for a really long time and, slowly, move up the chain kind of thing. And I don't think that's going to be our world anymore. I think it's going to be definitely way more.
No, I agree with you there. I think it's going to be a lot different than that. And if a lot of things are automated, then quite a few jobs will go away that we assume will always be there, but they just won't. There was an example the other day of somebody was talking about his father said to him, you're going to be a pilot. You always want to be a pilot. And then he said, no, I don't want to be a pilot. So well, why not? He said, because in a few short years, pilots won't exist because the planes will fly themselves. The same with bus drivers, taxi drivers, everything like that. All those things will go away. And in some way that maybe that's true, but maybe not too, because there'll always be some need for maybe manual control of vehicles, but
and you have to remember that the jobs that are going to be lost from those sorts of things are new jobs that are going to open up to fix those things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily always a full equal replacement value, but the educational needs that you'll need to do the jobs are going to be higher. And the things you have to learn to do the jobs, it's going to be more.
Well, I think you're right there, because the jobs will change. And yes, jobs will go away. We don't have chimney sweeps anymore. Actually, there are some, but not very many. There used to be a lot of them. so there you go. But that kind of job thing kind of went away, and then other things popped in. Now we have HVAC technicians who come in and fix all your air conditioning and everything
exactly.
Like that.
So it's just
it changes.
Upgrading and changing the skills. What I would like to see is businesses starting to take a proactive thought process on the idea that automation, if you're going to be bringing it in, and to start talking to your employees and giving them the opportunity to be able to advance their skills so that you can keep those employees, so you can keep that that family sort of feel to your business, but also this person just amped up their education with our help in the trades so that they can come still work for us because we want to keep them as a person.
Yeah, I think companies have a huge role in that.
Exactly.
And then there could be that if there are things that are completely automated and maybe that there's a new type of job that we can't even think about right now that would just pop up. It has nothing to do with anything that we thought would ever be a job. but it is a job. Yep. Well, you're exactly right there. And there'll be more and more of those kinds of creative positions, because the one thing that robots don't do very well, or AI doesn't do very well, is kind of think laterally like humans can do, and think abstractly.
Yeah, abstractly, especially, yes.
And and then there's this whole idea that some of those jobs that could be in the future have nothing to do with productivity and sort of filling your plate and filling your bank account. So it's just something completely different. Like maybe you don't even get paid in money, because you just do that thing. So if we were moving towards this idea of this abundance idea, in the future, then you would have all the energy, all the food, all the materials, everything we need, solve all the problems of the world, no disease. There's no point really in working in that world, because everything is done. And so then what do people do? So
everybody ends up at a comfortable position, right? So like, what need do we have to strive for innovation? What need do we have to strive for creativity, like when everything's there? Like part of those things happening is struggle, is failure, is all that. So if everything's perfect, and if we live in this Eden, then where is the need for sort of innovation and that sort of idea?
Well, that's where Star Trek comes in. We got to boldly go where no one has gone before. So we head out there into the universe and see what kind of trouble we can stir up.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. I'm so in.
Well, that's a good place to end this conversation.
Yes.
I am an optimist, a forever optimist. I would prefer to look at our future as bright than dark. Even though we probably are going to go through some ups and downs for sure. It will end well. I think humans are good.
Yes, I see us kind of in a dark zone right now, and I think we're really clawing at everything to be like, where am I going to get my grasp and get us out of this? Like we have to deal with climate change and the pandemic, and all sorts of things are going on.
That is for sure. But we're a tenacious species, so we are going to just literally claw our way through this and come out on the other side.
Hey, Jamie, when we go to space like Star Trek, do you think they're going to have space onions?
Of course, you can't go to space without onions. So like, what are you thinking? You need garlic and onions and chives and leeks and everything up there.
Yes, all of those things. Yes.
So, yeah, I did my part there. That's my contribution to human society.
I have made space tasty.
Yes. So, thanks everybody for watching the show today. I know it's kind of a crazy topic, but lots to think about here. So if it's on your mind, do put a comment down below and tell us all about your thoughts on the future of work and where we're going with this big digital transformation.
Yeah, guys, let us know what you think about our digital transformation in today's day and age.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share our videos, because we want people to watch them and
oh yes, don't forget to like and subscribe.